Well, excited to be back in the pit tomorrow versus Grambling. Grambling played, they haven't played in a while, I think 9 days, played Florida, played at Ole Miss, very, very tough. So good opportunity to see if we can get a win.
After watching the game film and obviously just the game in general, did you see anything positive out of the St. John's game that you guys can build on, or is it sort of other than the run, we're just going to kind of forget that game a little bit?
Oh, I saw a lot of positive. That was a great experience. It was a true road game. The fans that were able to travel all the way from Albuquerque to go experience that was awesome. Felt like almost like a Sweet 16 game because you're in an NBA arena. You got about 95% of their fans, and you got 5% of our fans are trying to be loud. The lights were very, very bright. That is a top 20 team. We cut it to 4. We battled. We did a lot of good things. So absolutely a lot of positives, and we'll be better from that game.
CJ took Philip's spot to start the second half. Is that something we can expect to see moving forward?
Oh, we'll see. I mean, I think that's another positive. Obviously, I thought he did a lot of good things. St. John's is aggressive, pressure you. You got to take him off the bounce a little bit, and CJ did that. I think he's probably a little more comfortable with that than Philip is. That's why we went with it. But with that, we gave up a little size, and that obviously hurt us on the glass as well. So we'll continue to evaluate it. It's not like a quarterback situation where you have to put one on the bench. All options will be certainly available.
Coach, you've got a home game tomorrow, as you mentioned, against Grambling. Is that a chance for Boer-Beaton to get his feet under him? Maybe, do what you brought him here to do. He's got talent, there's no doubt about it. Do you see tomorrow as an opportunity for him to do what you brought him here to do?
It's an opportunity for our team to get a win. I mean, everybody's got to be ready. Everybody's got to compete. We don't take any of these games for granted. Like I said, I mean, they go play at Ole Miss. It's a 2-point game, so we're going to go in there with everybody ready to go. And Philip gets that opportunity. We want him to take advantage of it. He works his butt off, and he'll have his chances like everybody else.
I don't know that the next 2 games maybe present it, but when you do play a team that has a couple big guys size-wise that maybe you're posing some offensive threats to you guys, as a second post defender, I guess is what I'm getting at, is there any chance that Tiki and Nelly would ever play together so you get a second post defender down there where Mustapha's maybe still a little bit struggling defending in the post?
You talking about going against Grambling, or you talking about St. John's?
And I'm saying the next 2 games probably don't really even come into the equation where they're going to have 2 bigs maybe that can. I thought Mustapha struggled a little bit defending in the post, and if you need a second defender on the court at the same time, would you ever play those 2 together?
No, I don't think so. It would be really hard offensively.
Seems like some games can be kind of eye-openers, like the Clemson game last year kind of revealed that you need obviously bigger guards. But during Sunday's game, the TV cameras kind of spied in on you guys in the huddle where you're talking about getting more rebound, getting more physical. Playing a team like St. John's that does have bigger wings, that can attack the boards, is that kind of an eye-opener, and maybe you change course a little bit in terms of strategy, in terms of challenging your guys?
No, I mean, I think, like I said, Philip was not great being pressured. So we had to go give CJ a look and play a little bit smaller. I think if we don't do that, then we don't cut it to 4. But it hurt us on the boards, So you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know what I mean? But I think St. John's was a road game all the way across the country. And I don't think there's a whole lot of shame in losing to them. So I don't think, of course we wanted to win, but that could potentially be the best team we play all year. So a lot to learn from it, a lot of positives. I'm very, very happy I played the game. I thought it was awesome for our brand, the exposure that the game brought us to be on national TV on a Sunday, a great crowd in Madison Square Garden. We're all good. So, you certainly learn from it. Like, you don't go there, treating it like it's no big deal, but you got to have a good dose of perspective, too, to not totally panic either.
Cade had the double dribble. It looked like he was in the moment, and maybe it was a little too big for him at first. I thought he settled down after that. What did you think of Cade and maybe some of the other younger guys, first or second year guys or new guys, and them handling the environment the way they did?
Yeah, I mean, I think him, Phillip, sure, they seemed a little nervous. I think they all did, honestly. I mean, that was you were obviously there. Like, it felt like a big, big game. And it's only, our fourth game. But it just had that feel, whether it was the buildup of me versus my dad, Madison Square Garden. The Lobos hadn't been there in a long time. You felt the energy from their fans. You felt St. John's respected us because we had beaten UCLA. Like, I think the players knew that they needed to bring it. So it's a great experience for all those guys. Cade, Phillip, Sacco, guys who may not have played a bunch, and now all of a sudden we throw them into the fire. So it'll only make them better. I told them during film yesterday, like, I've been lucky to be in some Sweet 16s. That's what it felt like. We've never in the history of our program been there, but, we've got big goals for our program like everybody else does. So all learning experiences. And as I said again, like, very, very happy I played the game.
So the success of the defense, particularly generating turnovers, another one of those things of positives to take away as well.
Yeah, the defense was good. It just the rebounding was not. And so their numbers, excuse me, I think were a little skewed because they got some offensive rebounds that led to dunks. But we were getting stops. My concern was always their bigger guards were going to tower over our guys, and they did. And but the initial part of the defense I thought was very, very good. But you have to finish the possession, and we certainly did not do that.
Coach, you mentioned a 2-point game at Ole Miss. What do you know about Grambling?
Yeah, they haven't played since the 11th, so that's always a little bit scary. You don't know what teams are going to work on, and could they throw something at us that we haven't prepared for. But they've played obviously a tough schedule. Grambling's going to have to play a lot of bye games, and I think they go to USC after us as well. So athletic, they got the Player of the Year in the league. We're starting to understand that it's going to be a big game to our opponents, especially in this building. So like at Nichols, we learned from that. I think we were way better versus Corpus Christi. Like, we're going to have to bring it.
Are you guys healthy? I don't think they were in injury.
Are we what?
Healthy.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Donovan's the only one that has a bit of a sore knee from the UCLA game. Held him out. Did a little bit of practice yesterday, but he'll go full go today.
Okay. As far as Donovan goes, his numbers were fine at the end, but they were focusing on him, and your dad even said that afterwards. And this is a guy who has the ball in his hands 75% of their possessions. Is there a little bit of a blueprint that they maybe showed people that if you can put a bigger guard on Donovan and just kind of take the ball out of Donovan's hands, nobody else on the offense was really stepping up necessarily? Maybe that's obvious because it's Donovan, but are you fearful that maybe there was a little bit of a blueprint given as to slow down Donovan and the offense might struggle?
I don't think a lot of teams have St. John's personnel or size. I think St. John's roster is probably a top 15 talent, roster in the country. They got the best transfer in the portal, Kadari Richmond. Smith from Utah was a highly touted transfer. R.J. Luis is a potential pro. Simeon Wilcher is on draft board. So I don't think we're going to play a lot of teams with that talent that are going to have the ability to do what they did. We need Donovan to get 100% healthy so that he can play with a little bit more pace, a little bit more pop. He was kind of laboring through that game a little bit. A lot of it was St. John's, but a lot of it is we got to get him 100% as well.
You talked about playing in Madison Square Garden, and I'm sure there's an intimidation factor for a visiting team. It's just an eye-opener for a 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid to walk into a building that everyone knows about. It's one thing to play in Henderson, it's one thing to play in Palm Springs, but do you think visiting teams like Grambling walking into this building, it has the same effect on them as Because maybe you guys playing in Madison Square Garden, it just makes you better, makes you tougher.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could speak from our perspective. A lot of people made a big deal out of that game, and I think you guys know me well enough to know that I'm not one that craves attention by any means. It was a true road game. It was long travel. It was not easy travel. Not that anybody needs to feel sorry for us by any means, but it was a long trip. But I thought it was worth it. You know, I mean, I think I picked up my son at basketball practice yesterday, and a parent came over to me and said, "Hey, I just want to say thank you for playing that game." And that was the goal. Was obviously a good opportunity versus a good team, but a lot of it was with our fans, bringing exposure, all those things in mind. So we got to remember it was a road game. You know, everybody says, "Oh, Pitino versus Pitino," all that. Well, he's only played me once in my building, and we saw how that worked. So, you know, I mean, I'd always welcome that in the future as well, but I doubt it would happen. So, true road game in your fourth game, always going to be harder than playing at home, and that's why it's so valuable when you have those home games.
Definitely a lot of things we got to get better from that game. It was like first really tough game for us. Got to play harder, got to rebound, make free throws. Probably the main takeaways.
As far as the rebounding goes, you guys probably aren't going to face a team that has, as your coach was saying, you know, that their personnel. But there was a group kind of rebounding that they had. They had 5 or 6 guys that had 5 or more rebounds. You guys only had one guy that had more than 4 rebounds. Is this sort of an attack, the rebounding by committee kind of thing that you guys need to do, or are there some individuals that need to step up on the rebounding?
It's just, we watching film, a lot of guys didn't block out when we're supposed to. It's just the little things. Got to pay attention to detail, I would say. Just go hard, play hard every time, you know. Those games, we got to win them if we want to win what we want to win, you know.
You started the season 1 from 9 from 3 against Nichols, and you shot 7 of 16, 43% since then. You hit 4 threes on Sunday for St. John's. Can you tell us why you're feeling a little bit better about your shooting?
Just keep shooting. I think that's the main thing. Just working on it and keep shooting.
We were talking to Coach about playing in Madison Square Garden, about being in New York City. First of all, have you ever played there?
Nah, first time.
Okay. What was that experience like, and how does it make the team better?
It's like Coach say, it was like kind of March Madness feeling. It was just, you know, a lot of things going on around the game. It's a good experience for everybody. MSG, legendary arena. You know, a lot of big names played there and, you know, fought there. John Jones just won the night before us, but it's a good experience for everybody. Big games, bright lights. You know, if you're not ready, you can't play those games. But everybody got to be ready for those games.
Did you guys go to the fight, actually?
Nah, it was too late.
Okay.
As far as the rebounding goes, sometimes that's a toughness and a physical thing. Do you feel like you guys weren't tough enough, or was it just strictly a positioning thing, or did you guys need to be tougher?
I think it's both. Positioning was bad sometimes. We went like too much under the basket when they were shooting threes, and it was long rebounds that they tipped, and their guards got them. So I think it's just being tough and having the mindset. You got to go hard. Everybody got to have it.
When obviously Philip was struggling a little bit, wasn't taking a lot of shots. CJ comes in, kind of asserts himself offensively. I know you asserted yourself offensively. Do you feel like there's enough guys on this team that maybe when the offense isn't going, there's enough guys that will sort of try and take over if they're taking away Donnie or something like that, and you guys can't get the ball into Nelly? I mean, are there enough guys on this team that will kind of make their own shot or assert themselves the way you and CJ did there in the second half?
I think so. CJ and me, we're older guys on the team. We've been through it. Philip is his first year really playing in college level. So, obviously, CJ was more prepared for that game, I would say. We have a lot of good guys ready to, you know, get some buckets. We do it in practice every day. It's just a matter of the mindset they have and being ready to go when the game starts.
Kind of staying with Philip, I mean, he's a younger player. You mentioned this the first time he's been through it. What kind of advice, since you are an older guy, what kind of advice can you give him to make him play like he practices?
It's just he got to be, I don't know, ready. I tell him to prepare himself for every game. It's just, I don't know if he's nervous or if he's just, you know, in his own head. He's a good player. I just try to remind him that he's done a lot of things, you know, before college, playing overseas and stuff. So he definitely has the package. You know, he's tall guard. So I tell him all the time, nobody can stop you if you just use your body. Everybody's smaller than him when they guard him. So it's just, I think it's just something that takes a little bit of time.
You have quite a few foreign players. Do you kind of, with that in mind, do you kind of try to help those guys to understand, you know, what college basketball is like now that we're into it, and you know, playing every couple of days and that kind of thing?
Yeah, it is. College basketball is for sure a little different than playing back home in Europe and, you know, Canada or wherever the guy's from. But it just comes from, you know, being together in practice. We have a team that shares the ball very well, so I don't think there's any problems there. So I don't know. It's basketball at the end of the day, you know. All of us play, all of us know it. So yeah, everybody just it's just a matter of time, I would say.
Try not to dwell too much on one game because it was only one game, but it was the biggest one. A lot of people paid attention to right on Sunday. I'm a little curious what your guys' mindset was on that flight back. It's a long flight. It's a charter, I know, which is nice, but like it's a long flight back after a game where you guys probably weren't very happy with your performance.
Yeah.
What was that flight like back?
And just quiet. Everybody was kind of, you know, by themselves. We was not happy. We wanted that game. We wanted to win that game. Yeah, but you know, it's just next game is in our vision right now, and we try to focus on that.
In these next two games before some more big name opponents in the MTE Thanksgiving weekend, what do you guys need to do to make sure these next two games you guys get something out of them? Maybe team doesn't kind of sneak up on you, maybe like Nichols did a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you guys need to do these next two games to prepare for the tournament next weekend?
Practice hard. Everybody got to give their all in practice. That's a team that, you know, is dangerous. They play kind of close with Ole Miss, and they are like smaller school that comes to the pit and sees all the crowd and gets hyped up. So we got to be ready for that. Even if they make a couple shots, you know, we got to keep pushing them back and keep, you know, going hard, and eventually we're going to, you know, get what we want.
Yeah, in the first 3 weeks of the season, you guys all played in Las Vegas, New York City, California. You guys are traveling all over the place.
Yeah.
What kind of demands does it put on you guys to travel? Is it tough to pack up and fly across the country like that?
It's sometimes. I love traveling, so I like, you know, playing away games. But it's, you know, can't be in the weight room as much probably as if we had a week at home. Everybody needs to know, you know, when we get there, don't be walking around too much like New York. There's a lot of things to do, but you can't be on your legs too much. You know, just stay focused, do everything you do at home, and just make sure everybody's, you know, take care of themselves and is ready for the game.